right, cool. So this is Youceff Kabal. I feel like doing a quick video, kind of based on recent political events. I haven't done a video in a couple months, but it's because sometimes the conversation gets too loud and there's enough stuff happening, so not enough stuff of significance. I was gonna do a video back on Sunday after the tax return, Trump's tax return news came out, but yeah, I mean, I was like, yeah, I don't want to add to that conversation. I feel like it's too many talking heads. But so obviously the first presidential debate happened yesterday, and yeah, I just want to catch my thoughts in a quick video. Basically, the social media fallout that's happening, and decided to basically make this into basically what's happening, which is basically I feel, I'll give you my first honest premise. I feel like Trump's gonna win this upcoming election one way or another, and we're all kind of playing into it. Not that I want him to win. I don't want Biden to win either, but this is my theory and belief. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Biden. I think both of them are very unintelligent men. But yeah, I feel like the Democratic Party and kind of liberals and kind of center leftists are generally playing into this charade, this show that is playing out in front of us. And so the title of this video is going to be how to get 4 more years of Trump in 4 easy steps. I'm not gonna share my screen on this one. I don't have any. I'm not gonna throw sources at you. We're not gonna screen share any videos or any articles. I mean, I feel like if you're not up to pace at this point, I'm not gonna really educate you on it. I suggest you visit Jimmy Dore's channel, the Jimmy Dore Show. Check out the last couple videos he has there. Kind of will help you catch up on the state of affairs. But yeah, so the first step is really to paint Trump's base support as racist, these Proud Boys. So first step, basically, in 2016, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but some 50 odd million people voted for Donald Trump. First step to getting 4 more years of Trump is to pretend like those 50 million people are all Proud Boys, KKK members. Like the KKK association is a 50 million strong organization. So I don't know the numbers for registered members of the KKK. I'm not going to look it up, but I'm going to take a wild guess that it's not 50 million. But so the first step is really to paint that entire 50 million base as KKK members. That's a sure way to basically ignore what Trump's base is actually made up of, which is largely non-KKK members. This might be shocking to you. Large parts of it are made of non-white Americans, white, so a lot of immigrants, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Blacks, African Americans, a lot of Asian Indians, a lot of Asian Americans, Koreans, Chinese, a lot of older people, retirees, vets, and basically generally Republicans who will just vote Republican no matter what. So of the independent bloc, that's what you have. You have, granted, there's a large faction that is racist. And by large, I don't mean like half, but I don't mean like 10 people. I mean, maybe, I don't know the numbers, but it's definitely a couple thousand. I don't think it's anywhere close to 1 million. So, I mean, that would be less than like 5%. Or wait, 50 million, what's 1%? 5% of 50 million, the 20th. So, no, it's like a 50th. So less than 2%. Less than 2%, I'd say, are possibly like racist Proud Boys, if you want to call them that. Step number 2 to losing this election, after not recognizing that Trump's fan base is multiracial and multi-generational, is show Trump losing in the polls. that's a great way to actually play into his plan, because his entire plan is just to fear his voting base into voting. So the more they're afraid, uh, the more likely they're going to go and vote. If they think it's in the bag, then there's going to be less of an incentive for them to go vote. Their his base is basically going to think it's in the bag again, and but on the opposite side, which is what is actually happening right now, is all the polls are showing Biden winning, which, if we remember from 2016, polls are not very useful in terms of determining the final results. A lot of the polls data was skewed. Not a lot of Trump voters watch MSNBC or ABC or any of these poll takers, and the New York Times or Washington Post, whatever. And so when you take a sample of the population, it's no surprise that most of the people who are, reading these kinds of or watching these outlets are gonna favor the Democratic nominee. And so the more of these polls you show, it's actually working against your favor, because it's gonna make Biden fans or Democrats and anyone who may be thinking that, oh, well, they would wish, any independents who wish um, who want to vote for Biden, that it's in the bag, that there's no possible chance that Trump would win. So why bother going to the polls? Why bother going to vote? It's a given, right? How could Trump, I wrote it here, how could he possibly win? So, and on the back, it's a double-edged sword, because not only does it decrease incentive for Biden voters to go out and vote, but it increases incentive, which is already huge on the Trump side. Trump's support base, I don't know if you guys have gone on like any of his like YouTube videos or his Instagram or his Twitter, like his base is, it's like a cult following. He could not possibly do anything wrong. So if you say he's racist, you're playing into them, because he makes it seem like he's hated, which he is, but he's actually loved by his fan base. And so whenever he's hated, they love him even more. And it's like a weird like psychological effect. But yeah, the more you show Trump losing in the polls, the more his base is going to be like, oh shit, we really need to go vote. We really need to put out more Trump signs. We need to spend more money. We need to fundraise more advertising. And, a lot of Americans didn't really know that much about Trump back in 2016. But he still managed to, I mean, obviously he got the Republican vote because they'll just vote anyone. I mean, you could put like anyone, if Obama was Republican, the Republican nominee, they would have voted for him. Like, they don't care. They'll vote for anyone. So, Trump just swayed some independents. That's how he won the vote. And, now he has an even bigger base, because common Americans, like, who wouldn't have thought about voting, now they've seen him in office for however many years. They've seen him perform. They've seen his work on their paychecks, on, they've seen how the witch hunt, they like the Russiagate stuff, they've seen all that, and now they can make a decision as to, well, what's going on. And so, like, the more you make it seem like Trump's going to lose, the more, even more, those people have an incentive to, hey, well, I actually kind of like this guy, so I'm going to go vote for him. Third step, which I think the first two steps are the biggest two. So again, paint Trump's base as racist, and then show Trump losing in the polls. But the third would be pander to Republicans, which is what the Democratic Party has been doing this year for some reason. And yesterday, Biden kind of doubled down on that in the debate. He blatantly and vehemently says he doesn't support the Green New Deal, which honestly, I mean, in my perspective, fine, because the green energy is a total scandal. And if you haven't, if you still think that, like solar and like wind is the solution, I really suggest you go watch Planet of the Humans. On YouTube, it's the Michael Moore produced film by Jeff Gibbs, and I'll have a link of it in the description here. But I really suggest you go watch that because turns out the green energy is just yeah, it's not what it seems. So, but yeah, and then secondly, Trump, Biden, I'm sorry, this is unbelievable. Goes on to again vehemently, adamantly say he's not going to defund the police, which is what a lot of Democrats, a lot of the left wants, and in fact goes even further in contradicting himself by saying that Trump is more likely to defund the police. So if technically, if what he's saying is if you want to defund the police, you should go with Trump. So, and why is he doing that? Because Democrats are pandering to Republicans because they're betting it, and it is kind of a decent strategy in a sense because they're trying to not only gain votes but decrease Trump votes. So if you take away Republicans, not only do you get one vote, but you decrease a vote on the other side. It's basically like you want two votes. But the thing is, I don't really think that's going to happen because Republicans are decently smart. They can sense a trick like that because, if you have the presidency under the Republican control in the Senate, you're not going to want to lose either of them. Why would you want a Democrat as president? It doesn't make any sense. Unless you absolutely hate Trump, which I think it's going to be a decision between how much do you hate Trump and how much are you a Republican. And I don't think that enough Republicans are going to be like, oh, I hate Trump more than I am a Republican. So basically, I don't think that's a very winning strategy. But most importantly is Biden absolutely loses like a huge chunk of the left, which Trump pointed out yesterday. And for some reason, all this stuff is flying over people's heads. Everyone on social media is talking about this Proud Boys comment, stand by. And, not to say that wasn't, I don't support that. Not to say I support that. I don't support that. But, if you want to like guarantee Trump winning, like focus on that. Like the more you focus on that, the more Trump wins. Because again, this goes back to point number one, step number one, which is to paint his base as racist. And they don't think they're racist because a large chunk of them aren't. And the more you do that, the more divided shit is. The more you separate the sides, the more it becomes a war, me against you. And this goes into my fourth step, which is really to voter shame and play into this divide. So the divide and conquer technique was devised by the Roman Empire, Julius Caesar, and I recommend you go and look into that. But that's how they managed to keep control of the Roman population. By dividing, conquering. You set these people against those people and they fight each other. And at the end of the day, you're still in control. And this is a technique that's actually being put into play by the elite, which is, the like Wall Street, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Obama, Bush, like the whole apparatus of this American oligarchy. Seth Klarman, what up, Seth? Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, these people who occupy this, Pelosi, who occupy this block, they need us, like the subclass, to fight against each other so that we don't fight against them. Because if for any reason we would unite and be like, and realize that Trump voters are actually very much like us, and in the process, potential allies, God forbid, they would be fucked. So what their goal is to separate us, divide us, get you to basically, say, oh, you hate all Trump voters, any Trump voter, any Trump supporter, anyone like that is a despicable person. Like they depend on you saying that. So when you do it, you're playing into their plan. And I get it. You get a lot of like, what's the word? You get a lot of virtue. It's okay. You feel virtuous. You're virtue signaling, and that's cool. We're all happy that you're like such a non-racist person, and that you besides all your friends really respect human rights and all that, even though you're not really talking about Julian Assange at all. We get that you're like morally superior than everyone else because you're voter shaming anyone who might support Trump. But at the end of the day, again, by doing that, you're playing into the plan of the oligarchy, the ruling class, which is to basically divide two factions of the American working class, so that the working class never unites to overtake the ruling class. So that's about it. Again, 4 steps. Number 1, paint Trump's base support as racist. Number 2, show Trump losing in the polls. Number 3, pander to Republicans. And then number 4, make sure to voter shame. Again, if you complete all those 4 steps, we'll get 4 more years of Trump. All right, so keep it up, and see you on the flip side.